Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lunchtime Detroit Lions Talk, brought to you by the Detroit Lions on the Prowl. We got a lot of stuff for you today. We have two big-time candidates, GM candidates for the Detroit Lions, one from Minnesota. One is a huge rumor out of Seattle, and we'll get to those. We'll get to your comments today. We've got a lot of Detroit Lions news and rumors and things like that today. There's just a lot going on, but I'm going to throw it to my main man, Curt, first.
Hey, welcome to the show, people. You know who we are. We are Detroit Lions on the Prowl, your home for Detroit Lions news. Hey, do us a big favor. Join the family. Subscribe to the channel. Join us every day, 11 a.m. for the premieres on this channel. Join the super chat. You know, it gets your comments right up front where you want them. And subscribe to the channel as well, like I said. And comment on the videos, like the videos, share the videos, answer the question of the day. All of these things help us get this content to more Lions fans just like yourself. Now let's get this thing started
right now.
Right now.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. We're going to dive right into the main course, and our first candidate up for bids today is George Paton. Curt, tell us a little bit about Mr. George Paton.
All right, George Paton is currently the Vikings assistant general manager. He's very close with Rick Spielman, Chris Spielman, you know, the Lions assistant to Rod Wood and Sheila Ford-Hamp's older brother. But let's kind of take a look at him. Some of his career highlights include he was a director of pro personnel for the Bears back in 2000. From 2001 to 2006, he was a director of pro personnel for the Dolphins. Then he moved over to Minnesota, where he is. He started out as a director of player personnel from 2007 to 2011. And then he took over his current position when he got promoted by Spielman back in 2012. Kind of getting to some of his background. He played defensive back at UCLA. He played professional football over in Italy and Austria. He started his NFL career in the scouting department back in the 90s with the Chicago Bears before becoming their director of pro personnel. Now he's married to his wife, Barbara. They have two children, Bella and Bo. He has a good eye for talent. He's responsible for drafting players like Dalvin Cook, Danielle Hunter, Stephon Diggs, and Adam Thielen. Some very, very big names right there. He turned down some interviews, though, previously with the Jets, Bears, Panthers, and Lions. So he may not want that job, or it may have been a thing where he didn't want it then. Well, he may want it now. Maybe. We'll see. But that's kind of it on Mr. Paton. Very astute, with a good eye for talent. Especially you look at the players like Cook and Hunter and Diggs and Thielen. They were very much staples of the success of the Minnesota Vikings in the last few years.
We're going to go to John Schneider here. And I'll tell you what, this has been kind of a rumor. We're going to get to it in our news and rumors as well. But quick backstory on John Schneider. He went to college at the University of St. Thomas in Minnesota. He's kind of a Wisconsin guy. Injuries forced him to retire as a player. He couldn't play, so he wrote a letter to the former GM Ron Wolf of the Green Bay Packers. His son Elliot Wolf is also somebody I thought about for the job, so that's kind of interesting. His internship with the Packers was his first job in the NFL. 1993, he gets hired as a first-time scout in Green Bay. 97 to 2000, he was the director of pro personnel for the Kansas City Chiefs. In 2000, he worked alongside Seattle vice president of football operations, and then 2001 became VP of player personnel for the Washington Redskins. 2002 to 2007, and don't hold this against him, he was a Green Bay's personal assistant to the GM. He was Chris Spielman, basically. Yeah. And then 2008 to 2009, Green Bay's director of football operations. 2010 to the present, he was the Seattle Executive VP General Manager. So, wow. He traded for Marshawn Lynch in 2010, 2013 to 2014. They beat the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl to win a Super Bowl, lost a Super Bowl to the Patriots, cheaters. But anyway, I'm just kidding. That's the play where Matt Patricia got all his fame. The best fourth quarter in his football career, as he says. God.
Yeah, the one play.
What a jerk. Sorry. He might be a nice guy in person. I really don't know, but
yeah.
Only 4 players were on the Super Bowl roster before Schneider got there. He made 285 roster moves.
Wow. And that's a 1 year in 2010 alone. Right. Wow.
That can't.
You can't make that many moves. I mean, I think that was his
career. He drafted Richard Sherman, Russell Wilson, Cam Chancellor, Tyler Lockett, KJ Wright, signed Doug Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse after they went undrafted. His free agent pickups were Jamal Adams, Jimmy Graham, Michael Bennett, and our own Cliff Averill. He has a wife, Tracy, 2 sons, Ben and Jack. Autism dad who has a foundation called Ben's Funds to support and help families suffering from the same disorder as his son.
Wow. From one autism dad to another, that is very, very impressive.
It is very impressive. The only thing I have on this, there are so many people that take credit for the Seattle Seahawks fame.
Yeah.
And it's Ed Dodds, who went to Indianapolis, was with Seattle when they were draft picking there, and they haven't drafted as well since. So is that something? Pete Carroll has to have something to do with it. He's the one that makes the decisions. He has final say. So, okay. And it could be this guy too, but I just don't know. And I guess that's my thing. Everybody else is saying he's responsible for this, and I'm not really sure.
Yeah, it's kind of a toss-up. You hear rumors, you hear like, okay, it was Pete Carroll had the final decision, and that's the only thing I have a problem with. Kind of like, I mean, who was really in charge? I mean, who's in charge of this show?
Yeah, I don't know who had the major. I don't know. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Major saying, or who was the one evaluating talent? I guess that's the thing I have to know.
Yeah. I get it. I don't. I mean, you look at stuff like that, and you look at individuals who aren't the head person, and you kind of look at that as like, how much influence did they really have, or how much say did they have in the situation because they were assistants, or they were, director of player personnel, or something that was, they didn't have the final say, and that is always a question when you look at potential GM candidates.
Well, when we went over Ed Dodds, one of his things was he was very good at drafting and evaluating talent. Why do I say that? The reason I say that is because that when he left the Seahawks, their drafting went downhill a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
When he went to Indy, their drafting went up. So is it quite possible that it's him? Yes, I think it is. So possible. Just don't know. I just don't know. So that's my take on it.
Yeah. I mean, either one of these guys could be, good candidates, but there's a ton of candidates out there. I mean, it just has to be the widest GM search that we've seen in Detroit in a long, long time.
And they're trying to swing for the fences. I really believe that. I believe they're trying to get the right guy in here. And I hope Spielman can evaluate NFL minds. Like he knows which one was responsible for the Seattle thing. Yeah. There's a lot of chefs in that kitchen.
Just a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what do you call that? It's like, what's that, Chopped, or, those shows, Hell's Kitchen or something like that. It's where you got so many chefs in there, but Gordon Ramsay is the one who's running the ship.
Yes, he is. Yeah. All right. We're going to go to comment cards now. Okay. Mark Simpson, a little late with my resolution. Bring in a general manager and head coach that will give us a Super Bowl, please. That is everyone's wish. That is everyone's resolution. Love it.
Yeah. All right. Let's go. Jim 4G. I think I'm saying his name. Forgey.
There's 5G now. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, okay. Please get a GM with a proven track record and a coach committed to turning the entire franchise around. I agree with Jim. After 30 years, can we please get a running game?
Yes. Amen, Jim.
Yeah.
Greg's some of our peoples. So
yeah.
Great coach, great GM. That's it. That's all he's saying, man.
That's what he wants.
Short and to the point. I love it.
Okay. Next up, you got, is it Grob or G-Rob? I don't care.
It is G-Rob, I think.
G-Rob, 4866. Much respect to you guys. Just a heads up, I'm a lifelong Texans fan. And Rick was great at drafting first-round picks, but not so much after that. You will get some pieces, but you never get the depth that will take you anywhere. If anyone gets hurt, there is no one behind them. That's a decent take. And that comes from a lifelong Texans fan.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of looked at that because I seen that. And his second round picks were pretty good too, for the most part. But yeah, there goes Mobby did a whole thing on him too, and I thought it was pretty good. So if you guys want to check out Mobby, that's really good. I try to throw out anybody who's doing good stuff. Let's see. Steve-O says the defense was such a mess with Patricia. No wonder none of the young players developed. I want to know if another coach can get something out of Bob Quinn's draft picks or some players with potential like Aquaro, Kuda, Awarie, Walker, and Austin Bryant. They just need to be coached up. You know what? No, Austin Bryant needs a health plan is what he needs. So does Okuda, to be honest about it. Aquaro wasn't around much either. The other two, yeah, I think Awarie was, I think, our best corner this year. That's not saying much. And Walker is a safety that we have that used to be good. So, yeah.
Actually, he had a pretty good game yesterday. We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that.
He had a decent game yesterday. He was playing with his hair on fire yesterday. All right. Last up, Leonard McCullough Vlog says, I think it's too early to determine if Big V is a bust, but we paid him, so we need to continue to try it out. We got 2 guards last draft, and Ragnow and Decker are good. I mean, we can draft some more O-line, but you can't pay everyone on the O-line and fill other holes. If it's the right side that's weak, bring in a tight end or scheme up quick passes. I mean, we aren't sitting bad on the cap, even with a projected drop.
Yeah, I don't know. Big V is a bust. So, and the only reason that is because he can't stay on the field. It's exactly the same thing as Austin Bryant and all these other guys, the injured crew that we have. I don't know. I did some mock drafts already and decided to trade down a couple of times and get some more picks and then and draft some offensive line. Actually drafted an offensive lineman, guard and a tackle both.
Yeah. Bob Quinn was always good at bringing in the broken and, the walking wounded to the Lions, guys who coming off of some kind of major injuries or, something where it was just like, the guys couldn't stay on the field. And he's always been good at that. Or guys coming in to camp broken, even that even includes Trey Flowers. He was hurt when he got here. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like everyone's hurt when they get here. Or they're surprised by what happens here, which we'll get to. Because we're going to go into the Detroit Lions news and rumors. That's what we're going to get into right now.
Let's go.
Get ready for the rant because it's coming.
Yep.
Lions players blast officiating after one of the worst calls I've ever seen. So Marvin Jones says this. Yeah, I mean, no way, right? I didn't know at all. When they stopped everything, they were like, it's under review. I'm like, literally, why? So was I watching the game, but it sucks because we've become accustomed to calls like that here. I don't know why, but it is what it is.
That's a big statement.
It is, isn't it?
That's a big statement by him.
And this is on the Marvin Jones touchdown catch. And they said it was under review. I honestly didn't have any idea why either. I felt the same way. I was like, what are they reviewing this for? Also talking about the quarterback tackling that we did. That is illegal in the NFL now, I guess. Just a terrible, terrible call. I don't think Tracy Walker weighs more than the quarterback, to be quite honest.
I don't think not
like a 300-pound guy falling. You got to use your judgment sometimes, you dumb
Walker's
officials.
210.
I'm sick of this crap.
Yeah, Walker's 210. I mean, he's not that. I mean,
what's his name?
Kirk Cousins It's probably more than that. Let's
Yeah.
see. Go ahead, finish that rant there, and I'll look
Just
it up.
Just a terrible call. It's probably one of the worst calls I've ever seen. You'd think it's about the game of football. It's a physical game in such a critical situation, 4th and 1. That was a game changer type of play. I'm standing there watching the entire play. He actually finished with his hands down and running. To say that he put all his body weight on the quarterback, it was one of those calls that you just can't make, especially when you see your quarterback take a helmet to helmet hit earlier in the game. It's like the eyes were closed on that play. It's frustrating. And that was from Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
And
those two plays were just totally, they both changed the course of the game.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, because it's so ridiculous. And I said this, I think ridiculous. I think this is a message to the Lions. I hate to say this, and it sounds terrible, and I may be way off here, but I think it's a message. I think it's a message that I don't care what general manager you get, no matter what you do, we will still be in control because we have the officials, we have the scheduling, we have all that other stuff that we can set you up and hurt you. And I can't believe they called that. I can't believe also that Minnesota, who I have no respect for right now whatsoever, go and celebrate that after 6 chances to get in the end zone from inside the 5. And they're celebrating team celebration of this crap and his terrible call. It was unbelievable. Horrible. Unbelievable. You're a great team because it took you 6 times to get in the end zone from the 5. It was 1 mostly.
That was ridiculous.
Terrible freaking piece of garbage team Minnesota is.
Yeah, that just was a horrible. Both of those calls were just terrible. I mean, both changed the trajectory of the game. Look at where the Lions could have went ahead with after that Walker fiasco, and then with the Jones catch, that took so much time off the clock.
It did,
and and I will address some other stuff with Marvin Jones later on. So let's move on to.
I can't move on yet. I can't move on yet.
Okay, go ahead. What you got?
We get off the field on 4th and 1. We get a legitimate sack, and anybody else who sacks the quarterback from now on, they better get a roughing call because that was a tackle. That's all it was. That's straight up a tackle. That's it. And I'm not even. I'm so mad and angry right now because of the fact that it's ridiculously stupid.
It is.
And you get off the field, that prevented them from getting a touchdown. Then you call another touchdown back. That's a 14-point swing right there. And the time they took off the clock.
Yeah. I mean, with the Walker one, I mean, they're about the same size. I mean, it's like he didn't even roll on Cousins. He rolled over Cousins.
Yep.
And hit the ground.
Yep.
It's like he was trying not to roll on top of Cousins. They're about the same weight. Cousins is about 203. Walker's about 210. That's 7 pounds is literally pretty much the same weight. And like it wasn't a big defensive lineman who like flopped on top of Cousins. That was a ridiculous call. And for that referee to have that. And I read the post game report where they asked him about that. Well, I just felt that he put all his body weight on top of. I'm like, dude, get out of here, man. Yeah, come on, man. Home. You can come up with something better. You can come up with something better than that, man. That was a. And
I want to know, how do we fix this? How does this get
he should
settled?
be disciplined. He should be disciplined by the league for that call.
Yeah. Well, I get that, but how do we fix this going forward? What is the new GM or new coach going to be able to do about this stuff? Does the owner have to take this to the league and say, come on, this is getting ridiculous. We're not going to stand for another one.
Something has to be done.
And we're going to march right off the field and just leave you hanging like a bunch of morons if you keep doing it.
Yeah, because it's stuff like that makes, fans don't want to watch the game. Because, here's one thing. For a ref, you want the referees to be part of the game, but not the focal point of the game. Like you don't want them to be the reason why a team loses a game.
No,
you don't want us to be the reasons why a team wins the game. Right. And that was the reason why those two calls are exactly why Minnesota won the game yesterday.
Absolutely. 100%. Absolutely.
I mean, maybe they call themselves doing us a favor. I don't know.
Right. So what's the next item up for bids? I'll try to be
Okay.
done. I could go on for the whole show like this. I really could.
Well, I guess they did us a favor because the Lions will have the 7th round pick in the upcoming NFL draft. I guess the NFL said, well, you guys need the top 10 picks, but let's go ahead and make sure you get it by
With the
giving you
7th
this
overall for the new GM coming in. That's going to be good.
Yeah. So that's the only thing that came out of that game that was of note for me.
So the NFL schedule is already pretty much, our opponents are set for next year. If you want to know who they are, we get to play Seattle, Los Angeles Rams, Arizona, who we seem to play every year. I don't know why, but we seem to.
Yeah.
And the San Francisco.
We finish in the same place every year. It's in that division.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But we play in other divisions every year. I don't know how we keep drawing Arizona every single year. But
okay. I can break it down for you right quick if you got a quick second.
Oh, of course.
Okay. All right. This is how it goes, people. All right. So the NFL makes the schedule, right? You have your opponents that you play, that you're going to have your division opponents, which is, of course, our Green Bay, Chicago, and Minnesota. And then you have one division you're going to play in the NFC, one division you're going to play in the AFC. And then those make up the rest of your games. And then the leftovers is the two divisions in the NFC opponents that finished in the same place that you did the year before. So Arizona's has been finishing the bottom of the AFC, the NFC South, the NFC West for the past few years. So guess who's finishing last in the NFC North? The Lions. So we play them every year based on our finish for the previous season.
And then, of course, the San Francisco 49ers, we got to play them. Then we also play the AFC North, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Browns, and the Bengals. That should suck for us. And it looks like there are 17 games next year, folks. 17 games. So we got one more to get screwed out of. And it looks like that odd game is going to be Denver, but we don't know if it's home or away yet.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. So let's get into some NFL more rumors. The Lions plan to pursue the guy we just talked about. The Seahawks general manager, John Snyder, he's also their executive vice president. The Lions eye blockbuster as team plans to pursue Seahawks general manager John Snyder. This is coming from SI.com and NFL.com.
Both. Yeah. Why? And Rappaport released.
Any Rappaport. Yeah. So it would be unthinkable in any other circumstances for the Lions to be able to lure a decorated GM such as Snyder. Snyder doesn't have a primary authority over all personnel decisions in Seattle. We talked about that earlier. He says they say Pete Carroll does. So that hasn't really mattered since Carroll and Snyder are in lockstep. But under the NFL's anti-tampering policy, the Lions, another team, could try to interview Snyder if it is offered, as full control is offered to him. Another team is also likely to go after Snyder as well. There's a lot of names that are, getting floated around where teams are trying to get at Mr. Snyder. I mean, it makes sense if you look at the sustained success of the Seattle Seahawks, where they have been they've been in the playoffs for the last several years. So you have to look at that. I can see why people would want to take a run at Mr. Snyder.
Yeah, I do too. And it's really interesting that he's the GM, but yet he's not the final say. That is kind of weird over there. And the Lions really like him, I guess, but I'm not sure on him. I just, like we said earlier, I don't know who makes the final call. I don't know if Ed Dodds was over there doing the legwork, or who is the mastermind behind it. Is it Pete Carroll himself? I don't know.
You know what? And us as Lions fans can be hesitant with individuals like that, because we just had that with Bob Quinn, who he was a personnel guy in New England, but guess what? Bill Belichick called all the shots. So you want someone who can call their own shots and make the decisions for themselves.
Okay, well, now we're coming to the question of the day, and it's actually two questions of the day today. What do you think of these two candidates? That's the first question. Do you believe the NFL does not want the Lions to win?
That's some tough questions.
Those two are tough. But now we're going to go to my favorite segment of the whole show. It is Dessert with my man, Curt.
All right. I'll give a big shout out for Marvin Jones Jr. Yes. All right. Now, Marvin Jones was a called touchdown called back touchdown from having the best receiving day of his career. They called back a 38-yard touchdown that kept Jones from having a 215-yard 3-touchdown day. Instead, he had to settle for his second best day in his career, catching 8 passes for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. His best day was a 205-yard 2-touchdown day back in 2016 versus the Green Bay Packers for the Lions. Okay, the bad call also cost Jones a 1,000-yard receiving year as well. He would have finished with 1,016 yards, but had to finish with 978.
Thank you, Mr. Official. May we have another.
What a day by Marvin Jones in his possibly the last day in Honolulu blue and silver.
Probably.
He had a great day. 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. He totally disowned the Vikings, but he's had the Packers, the Vikings number since he's been in Detroit. So he's one of some of his best performances. Now, all of them, weren't wins. Most of them were losses, but he has actually really torched the Vikings since he's been in Detroit.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit, and we usually don't, but we're going to talk a little bit about the game. Last game of the year, I thought Stafford played amazing, even though he was hurt and he's running for first downs and all the Stafford haters out there, you'll get your wish soon enough. If he gets traded, you'll get your 0-16 season or whatever it is that you wanted out of that. He's Detroit tough. He is a tough guy, but we haven't won with him. Well, we haven't won with anyone else either, so guess it doesn't matter. So I really enjoyed him. DeAndre Swift looked really good today. Hawkinson looked really good. Tavai watched a good game. He made some good plays. He was inside. He was inside this time. Remember, he was playing inside linebacker. So John Harmon made a tackle. That was interesting.
He overall, I will say this.
Defense played better. Yeah.
The defense played better. The offense played like they played. I mean, they played with their hair on fire and a couple of bad calls. I mean, especially the one touchdown that got called back from actually winning that game yesterday.
Well, the other one was terrible too, because they were off on 4th and 1 and they weren't going to score.
But overall, I would say this about the season. For most individuals in the media who picked the Lions, that's about par for what they saw for the Lions this year. 5-11. Some people only had the Lions winning 2 or 3 games. So
I had them 8-8.
5-11. But with the amount of injuries that the Lions had, they fought and they played. I think that you can definitely see a change after the determination of Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia, and they played looser, even though they had some tough games coming down the stretch. It is what I expected it to be at those last few games of the final stretch of the season. I would like to say, congratulations to a hard-fought game on Sunday. I never want to see the Lions lose.
I don't either.
Won't want to see tank. I like the performance. They play hard and they were played to the end. So kudos to those guys. Kudos to Matthew Stafford for, playing just broken up and taped together, and he got up there on the field. So I will always have a soft spot in my heart from number 9, because he's number 9 in the program, number 1 in my heart. Matthew Stafford.
Danny Shelton too. Danny Shelton made a huge defensive. He makes such a difference when he's in there. You don't realize how much came off IR to play the last game. So kudos to him as well.
And Romeo Okwara finishing with double-digit sacks. My man.
Yes.
Double-digit
didn't get
sacks.
Called for a penalty, which is surprising.
Yeah, surprising.
So anyway, just appreciate each and every one of you rocking with us. This was a fun show, and we have a great time doing this and bringing this to you. So thank you, every single one of you, for watching this to the end.
All right. Yeah. Thank you again. You know what we are. We are Detroit Lions on the Prowl, your home for Detroit Lions news. Thank you for joining us. Join the premieres every day, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You will have the premiere right here on our YouTube channel. And join the family. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Share the videos. Comment. Answer the question of the day. Ring notification bell so you know when you're getting fresh content from us right here on the show. All of that helps us get this content to more Lions fans just like yourself. Hey, it is the new year. First show of the new year. Happy New Year. We appreciate you joining us right here. And for this prosperous new year, you know what you got to do. You got to ball up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. For my man Jim, right here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl, this is Curt Steele, and we will holler at you real soon.